The land of dreams, the world's smallest continent and largest island. This vast country is vibrant, multicultural, and full of spectacular scenery. Everyone, welcome to Australia.
I am Marianne Guaza. Join me as we discover the land not on earth.
So let's start with the Australian flag. The flag has three elements on a blue background: the Union Jack, the Commonwealth Star, and the Southern Cross. The Union Jack in the upper left corner represents the history of British settlement. Below the Union Jack is a white Commonwealth or Federation Star. It has 7 points representing the unity of the 6 states and the territories of the Commonwealth of Australia. The star is also featured in the Commonwealth coat of arms. The Southern Cross is shown on the flag in white. It is a constellation of 5 stars that can only be seen from the southern hemisphere and is a reminder of Australian geography. States and territories.
Australia consists of 6 states, 3 internal territories being on Australian mainland, and 7 external territories being sovereign offshore.
States. South Australia, a state in southern central part of Australia. Its capital city is Adelaide. It is home to Kangaroo Island and known for its wine in Barossa Valley. Western Australia, a state covering the entire western third of the country. Its capital city is Perth. You can four-wheel drive along Kimberley Gibbs River Road and surf big wave breaks at the Margaret River. Queensland, a state covering the continent's northeast. Offshore Great Barrier Reef was the world's largest coral reef. Its capital city is Brisbane. Victoria, a state in southeast Australia. Melbourne was its capital city. It is known for its Wilson's Promontory Marine National Park. Tasmania, a state located 210 km to South Australian mainland. Hobart is the capital city. You can explore Cradle Mountain Lake, St. Clair National Park, and Port Arthur Historic Site. New South Wales, a southeastern Australian state. Its capital city is Sydney. Sydney Opera House is one of the famous destinations. Internal territories. Australian Capital Territory. Its capital city is Canberra. Jervis Bay Territory is an internal territory of the Commonwealth of Australia. Northern Territory. Its capital city is Darwin. It is a federal territory famed for its outback desert landscape. In the arid red center lie the iconic sandstone monolith or Loro, the red rock domes of Tata-Tihota National Park. External territories. Australia has 8,000 islands in its sovereignty, some of which has territories. Ashmore and Cartier, Australian Antarctic, Christmas Islands, Pupus or Killing Islands, Coral Sea Islands, Heard and McDonald Islands, and Norfolk Islands. Culture.
Australia is a unique country, and its culture has grown from its isolation, a convict past, the original Aboriginal inhabitants, the Anzac legend, and a large immigration program after World War II. We're essentially a Western culture with a democratic system of government, mainly based on the British Westminster system. English is the main language and Christianity is the dominant religion. The British colonised Australia in 1788 and used it as a penal colony. Now, to some nations that may be a somewhat shameful beginning, but it probably encapsulates the Australian spirit. Our nation was born to house the scoundrels, larrikins and ne'er-do-wells from the other side of the world, and we're bloody proud of it, mate. Aboriginal people had been in Australia for 50,000 years prior to the arrival of the first convict ships. One thing we're not too proud of is the way successive generations have treated the original inhabitants of this country. Even today, our Indigenous people are still way behind when it comes to medical care, education and career opportunities. Australia declared federation in 1901, became a nation and began to develop a growing sense of national identity. One of the greatest influences on the culture of the young nation was the Anzac tradition, born on the battlefields of World War I and continuing on through World War II. After the Second World War, Australia opened the doors and embarked on a massive immigration program. 6.5 million migrants from 200 nations flowed into our country and brought immense new diversity. A few years later, the White Australia policy was dropped and Australia began to welcome immigrants from all around the globe. Today, Australia is the most multicultural country in the world, and its culture is influenced by the people who have accepted it as their home. But egalitarianism, informality and an irreverent sense of humour continue to characterise our culture. You could never hope to describe an Aussie or the culture of this great country in a short video. Indeed, the only real way to discover what Australia's really like is to get on down here. Try some Vegemite and see it for yourself.
Literature. Australian literature is the written of literary work produced in the area of the people of the Commonwealth of Australia and its preceding colonies. Australian writers who have obtained international renown include the Nobel-winning author Patrick White, as well as author Christina Stead, and many more. Among the important authors of classic Australian works are the poets Henry Lawson and Banjo Patterson.
Australia has so much to offer, from their beautiful beaches, wildlife parks, cuisines, and their historical landscape. Amazing people, beautiful culture. Indeed, Australia is a wonderful country.